Club. Welcome to another episode of the 1111 Club. We're doing things a little bit differently today. I want to welcome you to the studio. This is the Simple Life Studio, named after my naturopathic practice, which was Simple Life Naturopathic. And this is my cozy cabin in the woods clinic space. This is also known as the place where Kleenexes get used, trauma gets transmuted, and women remember that they are magical. And I want to give you a little tour, and then we'll dive into stories from the studio. So, here's the waiting room. There's a bathroom over there. And this is where I spend my days. Hands-on bodies over there, listening to spirit, helping women exhale the generations of crap they've been carrying in their fascia. And today I'm letting you in on a few stories, a few experiences that I've had with clients here. So think of it like Oprah meets ancestral healing meets aromatherapy with a side of nervous system rehab. You ready? Let's do it. So the first story is called The Grandmother and the Scarcity. And it happened not that long ago. A new client came in, very sweet, very open. It was our first session. And I'm doing some light body work about halfway through our session. It was around her low back, and suddenly I got hit with a grandma energy, and it was maternal grandmother. It was kind of like this image of a woman with an apron and a little bit of a we make do with what we've got kind of energy. And I get this image of her as a kid, kind of thin frame, empty pantry, trying to ration time and love and warmth just as much as money. It was like scarcity had been wrapped up and passed down in the family through generations, every year, without fail. Now, my client didn't even struggle with money, but the scarcity showed up in her life through a lack of support, a lack of time, a lack of unconditional love. And I think when I said there's a pattern here that's from grandma and beyond, she was like, well, I've always had food and I've always had money, so I don't know. And I said, where else have you felt scarcity? She's like, oh. So then when we named it, she was able to breathe into her low back, and I worked with the area gently with body work, with light weaving, with intuitive touch, and helped her to meet the part of her that had been carrying something that wasn't hers to begin with. And she had tears in her eyes, and she said, I didn't know this wasn't just mine. And that's the power of this work. You realize you've been carrying someone else's bags through your whole life like it was your job. And now's the time to let them down. Story number 2 is about the burnt out mom. Okay, so she came in and I hadn't seen her for a while, but it wasn't our first visit. And she's a powerhouse. She's a full-time working mom, managing a team at her job and a team at home, where she's also, the nurse and the cook and the therapist and the emotional regulator and the calendar manager. You might even be that type. And she comes in and says, I'm done. I don't even know what I need anymore. I just know I don't have it and I'm done. So we talked logistics, because sometimes healing means actual calendar adjustments. I don't always wave a magic wand, because sometimes we actually need to time block time for yourself. And I said, what afternoon can you take off each week? What night can you get away? And then we tuned into her body, and there was heaviness, like a boulder in her chest and shoulders. And when I got her on the table, because this was in person as well, I placed my hands on a spot on her upper back and neck, and spirit was like, here's the key. So ask her to say, I release the need to stay silent. And as she said it, something moved, like a fog lifting off of her chest. And she looked up and said, oh, that feels lighter. And it wasn't about fixing everything in her life. It was about naming the damn thing and then letting it go. Because we all have heaviness. But we gotta see what the heaviness is really talking about. Story number 3 is the timeline shift. Now this one was, it was a ride. I've been working with this client for a while. She's really wise. She does the work. She's in the work. She works in the work. And she's been stuck. Kind of like quicksand stuck. Her family's been through it. Deaths, illnesses, job loss, big old pile of gut punches, and the nervous system was hanging on by a thread. She'd been in survival mode for months, if not years, and her partnership was suffering, fraying. So I said, what if we asked for a timeline shift? Because we decided together that we're done with this old timeline. It served us, but it's not serving us anymore. So let's pick a new one that centers around peace and health and connection and abundance. And I don't totally know how to do this, so I checked in with my guides, my team. Tell me what to say to her in order to step onto our new timeline. And they showed me this image of her sitting cross-legged in her backyard, bum on the grass, and just feeling gratitude. That's it. Earth, stillness, presence. And she did it right after our session, and she messaged me 10 minutes later. Because after the gratitude, after she had pulled in the feeling of gratitude, her partner came outside and they started to play, laughing, connecting. And that right there is a moment that shifted. Not by trying or forcing, but by choosing. So these are just quick windows into the work I do. Every single session is so different. But the essence is kind of the same. Compassion, safety, curiosity, being present and listening to what's here now, to the body, to spirit, to the emotions. So now I want you to experience some of this. Let's go inward. And I want to take you through a little taste of my SEER method experience. And it'll only take a few minutes, but it is deep work. So if you're listening to this while driving, or maybe you're wrangling your small humans, pause and come back to this later. Or set the intention that this will meet you exactly where you are. Sit here for a second. Hands over heart to connect into the body. And take a deep breath. Intentionally drop from your thoughts, from your mind, and into body awareness. Feel the warmth of your hands on your chest. Take another breath in and let your exhale be a little bit longer than your inhale. Now I want you to notice any sensation. The heaviness, the buzz, the tension, a tight spot, numbness, lightness. Let it be there. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just see it. And I want you to ask, what emotion is living here? Trust the first answer that you get. Or if nothing comes, think of what's been bugging you lately and name that with an emotion. Is there anger, fear, disappointment maybe? I'm feeling kind of a tension in my mid-upper back. When I tune in, it's tired. So whatever emotion came up for you, I want you to say, I allow anger. I allow fear. I allow fatigue in my body. You're allowing it to be there. No fixing, no overthinking, just being. And now listen in. Is there an image that comes up when you hone in on that emotion and that area? Maybe it's a phrase, a memory. What does this part of your body want to say? Now, if you're like, nothing's coming up, Les, that's okay. This is usually where I get the messages from your spirit team or your inner child, because it takes safety and patience to create that dialogue. So you're not doing it wrong. You just need to try again later. Or sit with it long enough until something does come. Now, if something did come up, beautiful. Let's move it. Can you stand up right now and sway your body? Move your arms back and forth. Get into the space, maybe it was in your low back, where you felt that sensation. Allowing it as part of it, moving your body, reorienting your body to this time and space is how we also shift. So let's move through it. Take some time right now. Stretch. Shift it. Good. Now take 2 deep breaths now. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more. And come back to you in this moment, without the story, without attaching to anything that actually did come up, because you've allowed it. Don't pick it back up again. It's ready to go. Come back to your knowing. We've been doing this somatic work through every single 1111 Club video since day one. I hope you've been seeing the results of tiny little consistent effort. Because this is just a small slice of what I do in sessions. It's never about fixing you. It's about remembering who you are underneath all the noise that the world heaps on us. If this stirred up something and you want to talk about it, I'm here. If it felt weird but also kind of cool and good, that's good, that's normal. And if you're ready for a deeper shift to really hone in on what's underneath the surface for you, book a seer session. We'll unravel it together. Thanks for hanging out with me in the studio, the space where the weird woo-woo meets the wise and the healing, and it gets to be real. It's a fun space. And if you've only ever done virtual visits with me, plan a road trip, because the in-person is pretty spectacular. I'll see you in the next one.